our next panel. Did you want it now?
You want to go finish this?
Kathy Domingo, and did I mess up the name? You'll let me know, I'm sure. And Donna Woods. Were you coming forward, Genoa? That's what I thought. And so if you would just start off by introducing yourself for the record.
Absolutely. Chair Doherty, Vice Chairs Frederick and Springer, and members of the House Education Committee. My name is Kathy De Domingo. I am a speech-language pathologist, and I am the president-elect for the Oregon Speech, Language, and Hearing Association, as well as the legislative chair. What I'm going to be doing is trying to build a more coherent framework for the problem. And my colleague Donna, who is one of those rural speech-language pathologists who brought this to our attention in the first place, will be able to fill in a lot more of the meat and I think answer some of the questions. I want to start by just framing some of the questions you had with a bit of an outline on what it is to be a speech-language pathologist in the schools and how we got there. School-based speech-language pathologists serve kids from age 3 to 21. Among the disorders they will provide treatment for is everything from the good old kid with a lisp and an R problem to the kid who never developed an ability to speak at all and must use alternative augmentative communication devices. So basically, if you think of Stephen Hawking, he's kind of the pioneer for that. And in between there, they're also dealing with kids who are on the autism spectrum disorder. They have cognitive and developmental language delays. They might have had a brain injury. So this normally developing kid is suddenly stopped in their tracks by a brain injury. That's another part of my life. And some of them just have a funny voice. Those are the simple kids, right? Their caseloads can be, I think Donna told me, and she'll tell you more, 60, she said, was a good number. We know speech-language pathologists who have caseloads greater than 80 kids. They're serving school districts, as I said, 3 to 21, so they might be in a number of different schools in any given week, sometimes in any given day. Put them in a rural district, and that puts a lot more miles on the car and a lot more distance in between their ability to serve those kids. The school speech-language pathologists are doing a number of things, from receiving that referral and providing a diagnosis, which results in an IEP, which results in treatment, which results in families. The circle will continue. In order to train a speech-language pathologist, the simple thing is we only have 3 programs, 3 graduate programs. Those graduate programs are recruiting nationally. They can have well over 300 candidates for 30 to 50 slots for graduate students. So the programs are training as hard and fast as they can. And as a matter of fact, Pacific University added a program 3 years ago. Portland State, expanded the number of graduate students that they take. They used to only take, I believe, 25 to 30. Now they're up to 40 to 50, depending on the year. So the universities are doing what they can to increase the number of graduates that they can graduate, but it's clearly not enough. The other factor is to get to your license as a speech-language pathologist, you have to go through a number of, I think, roughly 1,600 hours of supervised work. So as an undergraduate, as a graduate student, you have about 700 to 900 hours that you're getting supervised in schools or in a healthcare setting in all the different areas that we have to be proficient in, from that simple S to that medically complex client. We have to meet a number of different requirements. After that, we have another roughly 1,000 hours that we have to do in what's called our clinical fellowship year. That has to be supervised. The supervisor does not have to be on site, but they have to certainly be with the same employer. So if you're in a district where you're looking for therapists to begin with, to get new therapists into the district is not simple. So I hope, Representative Wilson, that helps answer a little bit of your question about why is this a problem. It's a problem because we're producing them as hard and fast as we can. We just can't. The other factor, I was speaking with a graduate intern who's in my clinic this morning. She's from California. She goes to school at Portland State University, and I asked her how many of her peers within the class of 40 are from in-state versus out-of-state, and she said roughly 10 are from out-of-state. Well, most of those out-of-state folks are going back to their home state. And the other question I had was, if you had a job offer in a rural district, would you take that? And she said, well, the thing I also have to consider is I have a partner who is employed, and that partner's employment is what allows me to be in graduate school full-time. So as they're establishing their career, and these are young professionals, to try to get them to move to now a rural district is sometimes a difficult thing. And I know as a supervisor myself, I constantly get requests from Oregonians who have gone to out-of-state universities. They want to come back. They're trying to find those supervised hours, and I know my clinic can't provide them because we're already meeting the needs of the 3 in-state programs. So this is not a simple solution. You have written testimony that was submitted by Dr. John Tracy, who worked very hard on this issue back in 2005. You also have written testimony that was submitted by Cassie Winveen, who is a former speech-language pathologist and is now an administrator. And she talks very specifically about the challenges of recruiting on the rural districts. And it's not just the recruitment, but the retention. They can sometimes get a person there, but keeping them there in an area where you're young and you want to be where the life is, and that's 2 hours away, is a little bit difficult as well. So we definitely support this. We think it's important for not only the access of services for the kids who need it, and there are, as I said, the caseloads can vary from 60 to 80 kids or more, but also for training the next generation of speech-language pathologists who we want them to understand how beautiful life is in all areas of this state, and not just come to Portland or Eugene. Thank you.